So we're on retreat, you all. Some of us on this call are on retreat, and we have a retreat topic, and we're going to go into that a little bit this morning, and bring the larger Sangha into the retreat topic of curious questioning.
So we decided to start from reading from my unconventional glossary of Buddhist terms, which, by the way, is up on the Pine Street's website. Is it on Sati's? I don't know.
I think it is on Sati's, and it's in our book, so we have it a lot of places.
Right. And now we're going to talk about it right here and now in this place. So
Yeah.
And the heading is questioning in the glossary. I'll start. Much has changed in the 2,500 years approximate since the Buddhist time. What's similar is our exposure to an overwhelming number of spiritual teachers, ideals, and beliefs. I would add ideas now, but I guess that's similar to beliefs. You want to take it from there, Linda?
Sure. In the Kalama Sutta, one of the most popular Buddhist teachings in the West, the Buddha invites the Kalamas. These are the people he was answering their questions, which is kind of interesting. We really do bring our questions to spiritual teachers, don't we? We have a long history of doing that. But the Buddha invites the Kalamas to question what they're hearing from the many teachers passing through their town.
I too suggest you question the ideas I write here, or I might add now, the ideas or the beliefs that I will be speaking in this talk and throughout the retreat and forevermore. I suggest you question them and see for yourself what lessens your stress or angst.
Right. And though, Nelly, in your writing, you're using the I, suggest you to question the ideas. I think it's really a we suggest that, right? I mean, this is part of practice, of reflective meditation practice, is that we're not trying to provide the answers for people. We're really, again, like the Buddha, asking people to go back to, questioning what they're hearing, questioning things that you might think we're saying or that we say with certainty, but maybe we don't have that much certainty around what we're saying at times.
Yeah, and when I read this definition this morning, I wanted to fill it out, not only see for yourself what lessens or reduces your stress and angst, but also what leads to more expansiveness, more openness, more freedom. What would you add to the list, Linda?
Well, what are more relevant to you, that are really personal, that feel important, that maybe you've discarded because other people thought they weren't important questions? Yeah.
And another way of saying it is sort of what just like hits the mark for you now.
Yeah.
What's going on in your life and inner world, and just kind of like, that's it. That's useful. That takes me somewhere.
Right. So we're really kind of going out of the theory, so to speak, of the right questions to ask and go to our experience of what questions right now are important for us. And I think with that, we can kind of talk about, well, where do we look for those answers, right? Because often those questions we look to now in modern day, Google, Siri, Alexa. We might ask, the internet, the questions, and the answers are often at our fingertips for some of these things, and we need them. We need some of those answers. We can't remember them all.
And we don't even have to use our fingers. We could just state them aloud and push the voice dictate button. And
in the air.
We've got thousands of responses to that question that come up within what, seconds?
Yeah. They seem really smart too when they answer fast,
And then there's the more definitive ones at the top and the more obscure
Right.
ones farther down. But at any rate, we all have done this and we all know how this works. And there are real benefits to this. I mean, there is, those facts are, I mean, it's really interesting
Right.
sometimes and
Right.
useful too.
Right. Right. And when we're not asking the internet, we might ask other people, we might ask, friends, family, it just, be looking outside, let's say, for them, for the answers. And in those answers, I'll just say one thing, Nelly, in those answers, we're often going to get back other people's views. We're going to hear how they would answer them.
Maybe always,
Oh, yeah.
not sometimes. Of course, how could you answer a question
Right.
that would be separate from your views?
Right.
Um, and some of those views again can be quite useful, but some of them can impose things on you that don't make sense, that don't fit, that you don't really want to be looking into. But they're strong views. So strong views leave a strong imprint.
Right. Right. And I think it's important, especially when we start to build a community, we start to know each other and we start to hear people and care about their views, so to speak. It's also hard to differentiate when those views aren't really ours or we're not really there. It's not the right time for us to take that up or be interested in it. We're interested in something different. And is that okay?
Right. And then there's this, I mean, I almost feel like, and we wrote this up in our principles of receptive listening when we wrote that, I believe,
Mhm.
but that it's an act of generosity to not sort of lay your strong views on other people. Now, I'm not suggesting the opposite, that you don't speak of I'm not saying don't speak about your views,
Mhm.
but just be cognizant of how strong views really get into people. And of course, people use this and teachers use this as a power
Yeah.
technique,
Yeah.
or it functions that way.
It functions that way. Yeah, I had a friend the other day who said, I don't mind if you express strong views, just don't expect me to now take up that view. And I thought that was really well put because then it gave you the permission to, tell me honestly where you're at, but just don't expect me to take it up.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we hadn't really talked about that earlier, but I think there is a method of delivery where you can have a strong view, but you're not kind of it into people
Yeah.
or kind of coercing them or
Right.
manipulating them into your view.
Right. Or
Um,
aware that you're doing that. Yeah.
yeah. So we took up another topic here that came from some of your reading recently, which is, you could say, we're a do-it-yourself kind of practice. We're not saying this is the path. And some Buddhist paths really say, and these are the levels of development, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And this is how it works. We're not saying that. We're saying kind of find your own path, do it yourself. However, this was the discernment you were making.
Yeah, however, we're doing it our own selves, if I could say it that way, within a community, like with others. And there's something about that piece of Sangha, which the Buddha talked about, which is part of the Buddhist path, that you take up your own path, but not in isolation, not without influence, not without help and support from other people, and that's an important part of the do-it-yourself path.
And or our do-it-yourself path.
Yeah,
And and knowledge then, is sort of put out in a communal way, which you can, as people talk about their sittings and their insights, and which you can, take what fits and leave the rest, as they say.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, one other point on that is sometimes in conversations or when you hear other people's knowledge, you actually don't know how to grasp it or kind of turn it into something that you can use. It can feel like a bit confusing with a lot of people saying different things. And I think that's one of the reasons, like having a strong authority teacher has been easy in the past is because you just listen to that. And then you can kind of do away with all that other stuff then, or call it distractions. We're actually going the opposite direction, which is harder. It's a little bit more difficult to sort through what we're hearing and be more understanding of how we can use it.
And I think that's a development with practice and reflective meditation, probably other forms too, but I'll speak to this, which is that over time, what develops is a knowledge or capacity to know what fits, and to know what you can, or to be letting go of what doesn't fit.
Good. Thank you.
Time to meditate.